that's definitely been an element that's a little bit different. Obviously, when you have your direct boss is somebody that is going to be here. So that's probably something for myself. That's at least it's kind of just a different element that's been added to the whole conversation. I think like it's been again it's been pretty consistent, the conversation, and ultimately I think we're either going to do it or not.
Yeah, I heard from Hassan Kim that he lose almost 20 pounds that off season, and I'm preparing to work out or eat more, and I love Chipotle, so it'll help too.
Yeah, I like Chipotle.
Chipotle.
Yeah, very good food.
Hi everybody, welcome to Marty Time TV. I am Marty Caswell, that is Darren Smith. We are brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. I am in spring training. I don't know where Darren is. Darren, where are you?
Marty, I am outside of a coffee shop, Trident Coffee. We will shout them out in Imperial Beach. I've been banished from my house today, and I know you said that you are getting set to pack up after a couple of days in Peoria, Arizona. So you got me steering off Coronado Boulevard here and Imperial Beach Boulevard and off to the coffee shop so I can use their Wi-Fi, have a cortado, and find out what's happening with Padres spring training. Sounds like a lot.
Yes, I put in, I thought, the two biggest clips from my couple of days here. AJ Preller, that's a portion of the clip of him talking about why he hasn't signed his extension. And then, of course, the newest Padre. He goes by the name Mooney, talking about his love of Chipotle. So, Darren, where do you want to start today? You are the lead today. I'm sure you've seen my content.
I mean, I don't mean to, go after Chipotle, but I do think when you're arriving in San Diego, I do suspect that he is going to have a lot of people suggest some other options to him other than Chipotle. Just a hunch, just a guess. This isn't. I don't think this is anywhere near as offensive as when Will Meyer showed up and started talking about the Mexican food in North Carolina and the white queso. Right. But I think he's going to get a little bit more benefit of the doubt. Also, I think he's now going to find plenty of suggestions from people all around San Diego County that, you can do a little bit better than Chipotle. But bless him for having an opinion and not being afraid to express it on his first couple of days in the U.S. and at Padres spring training. Bless him. Bless you, Muni.
Darren, as you know, coming to spring training this early on, one of the advantages is you get to learn some personalities, and it has been a blast getting to know him. Right, he's got some energy, he's got some presence. I mentioned this to him in his interview. He's confident in his own skin. So that's a fun conversation. I'll post it later on. You can find it in usual places on Marty Time TV. But that to me was the biggest thing. We started our interview talking about Duolingo, right? Because he plays it to learn languages. As do I, as I'm sure do you.
I've given up on it, actually. I mean, hopefully they're not a sponsor, but I don't feel like I was really progressing as much as I would have hoped. So
really?
I'm open to other apps.
Now, Mooney said that he found it too easy. He actually said the same thing. He said he stopped because he found it too easy. But anyways, you can find that conversation later on. All right, Darren, as you've been there, I've been posting different clips. What to you has jumped out at you as the main story from Peoria?
Probably how gray AJ Preller's hair is. What's going on there? This is a man who has aged in quite a few months here. Now, I don't know what was going on, if there was some sort of performance enhancer happening with AJ Preller, but am I mistaken? Was it the lighting? Was it just the lighting? Was it the sun? But the man looks a little bit grayer than I remember, and even grayer than he was perhaps at the introductory press conference of Craig Stammen. I don't know. Maybe I'm not getting that one right. I thought his commentary was, nothing new. Maybe a tad bit more insightful than some of the stuff that we had heard.
Okay.
So, you start there. Again, the Stammen stuff, I think we talked about it last time, although I get confused because you're inviting me on so many different shows. Was it Marty Time TV or was it Friar Territory where we talked about Craig Stammen's introductory press conference? This is early on in spring training. There's really nothing that's all that newsy. It's it's like the first couple of practice swings and the batting cages. I mean, you're gonna every once in a while throw a baseball bat halfway down the third baseline, but for the most part, you're just trying to get into a little bit of a rhythm here. So I don't know. I mean, I guess the only thing that really qualifies as a little bit of news is some of the stuff that had been said about Luis Campusano recently, which was for the Campusano stands, those that are still huge believers in Luis Campusano, which, hadn't been his previous couple of managers.
Yep.
It appears now like he's going to get a clean slate with this manager. So whether it's this manager or this front office via this manager, who knows? But, that was interesting, that at least early on, Craig Stammen seems to be indicating that Luis Campusano is going to play a lot more than a lot of people, including myself, would have suspected. And then, of course, there's also all the speculation about other players who aren't yet Padres who could end up as Padres perhaps by the end of the week or by the time people even watch this episode. So, that's about it in a nutshell for me. So have fun, Marty, and I'll see you later.
No. You can't go yet. Okay, I do want to go ahead and get into the speculation about some of the players that could end up Padres as AJ Preller looks for the next Gavin Sheets, right? We'll get there shortly. But I do want to go ahead and play what Craig Stammen had to say today when he was asked, I think, by AJ Caswell about his catching situation. The one thing I love about Craig Stammen, okay, because we used to ask Mike all these questions, this just simple, basic questions. He would either say, we're discussing it, or, we'll let you guys know in 30 minutes, and then we would never find out. It's like Craig Stammen is answering these questions head on, and it's refreshing to be treated like an adult. But this is Craig Stammen talking about the never-ending conversation regarding the Padres catchers.
I feel good about him being our number one going into the season, and then I feel really good about Campy being our number two at the moment right now. He's done everything he could to prove himself in AAA. He's had an up and down. He could have complained a lot about his situation from the last couple of years, and he didn't say anything. He just went down there and performed. And I think this year we're going to see a new Campy. He cut the dreads, he's got the new haircut, looks good. I know he's excited about the opportunity, and probably the first time in his career that he has, a little bit of a runway to take control of that job and win it in spring training, and then be the number two, when we leave camp. And then on the other side of that, we got Rodolfo Duran and Blake Hunt that are going to be knocking at the door right at Campy's heels, creating some competition that have a chance to make the team also.
When you Campy having that runway in that kind of number two spot, he played every day at AAA. He had a lot of success at AAA. He played frequently at AAA. What are the keys from your perspective to handling if he's maybe not playing every day, if he's getting an at-bat here or a start there?
Yeah.
Working with certain pitchers, that kind of thing.
I think it's going to be a little bit different than what we saw from Campy last year, where we called him up and it just was kind of erratic, when he played, and he was just only DH, didn't get to catch at all. So I think, to not burn Freddie out, Campy's got to, if he's the number two, he's got to catch a lot.
Okay, so I'm sorry. It goes on and on, Darren, but I thought it was interesting what he said about not burning him out and also just the erratic playing time that he received. So it seems like Craig Stammen, they've made it clear what his role is going to be, assuming he makes this roster. He's going to play quite a bit.
Yeah, at least that's the impression that Craig Stammen's giving everybody today, right? Which you're always sort of galaxy brain trying to think, what are these guys actually saying? Are they saying actually what they're saying, or are they saying something else?
Who's the message to?
Right. Yeah. I mean, but you have to remember Craig Stammen was a part of this front office not that long ago before he became the manager, the surprising choice for manager.
Yeah.
And I've always felt like the front office has felt one way about Luis Campusano and the coaching staff. And I think some people on the pitching staff have felt a completely different way.
Yep.
So, maybe this is one of those bridges now where Craig Stammen says, hey, new year. He used the word erratic with regards to how Campusano was handled last year. He wasn't allowed to catch. He was not allowed to catch, which was a statement, because if these guys wanted to throw to him, Marty, you and I both know that pitchers have an incredible amount of sway in a clubhouse. If they want to throw to a catcher, it doesn't matter. That catcher could be batting $170. If they want to throw to that guy, they're going to throw to that guy. And most managers are going to acquiesce. They're going to say, yes, of course, we want you to feel comfortable. So, the fact that nobody raised their hand and said, we want to throw to this guy, I thought was interesting. But, it sounds like, hey, we've got a couple changes now on the pitching staff. So this is going to be a fresh start and maybe the last time ever in spring training that we have this conversation.
100%.
Because if you can't make it work this time, new manager into a new season, I would have thought that the day has already come and gone for this guy. But obviously he has lived to catch another day in this organization. And maybe this is the time where the front office gets to say to the previous couple of managers, guess what? This guy, he did have value. He doesn't have to be great at framing or some of the other stuff. If I'm not mistaken, he did catch a no-hitter that Dylan sees through. So Now, again, Mike Piazza caught a couple of no-hitters too, and he was a terrible catcher. So, it's just trying to find that balance. Nobody's ever going to confuse him with one of the great defensive catchers, but at least there's a willingness to give him a shot, and we'll see. I mean, again, I don't know how many more times, you can keep giving them the opportunity, but it appears like he's going to get one more of these. So, let's see what happens with it. Again, like maybe this front office will be proven right, because I think they have been incredibly stubborn in their faith and belief that Luis Campusano could be a big league player, maybe not an everyday starter, but a big league player, and certainly a backup catcher for the Padres.
I think they really believe in his bat. I think they really, really believe in his bat. And Darren, I know the regard that you have for Keith Law. And just, I think last year we had a conversation about Luis Campusano. There's no one we talk about more on any platform than Luis Campusano. And he said of all the Padres prospects, that is the one that surprised him the most, whose bat didn't turn out, because he has so much talent. He was positive the bat was going to play out.
It was a confidence thing. I mean, there's no confidence shown in him by people who had this job previous to Craig Stammen. Now, maybe there's a perfectly legitimate reason why back-to-back managers have said he's not my guy. He's just not going to be my guy. I don't care. We will play Austin Nola, who can't see, whose knees are we will play him until he turns to dust. But there now is at least a different way of thinking, and I guess it's something to pay attention to, because the way Stammen says it, it's not like, well, hey, listen, he's part of a group that's going to have competition. It's like, no, he's going to be playing a lot. Those are his words.
Yep.
Luis Campusano is going to be playing a lot. So forget about last year, forget about the 0 for the season, forget about never catching. He's going to be playing a lot, and all right, all right, something to pay attention to now.
He used the word erratic. The erratic way that he was used, and that kind of just like, whoa, that, Craig Stammen's a very smart guy. He picks and chooses his words very carefully, Darren. So I thought that was fascinating. And just when I would see, Campusano last year in the Padres spring training, in the clubhouse, he looked miserable. He didn't know why he was there. He didn't want to be there. He felt like he was rotting on that bench. He would much rather, go ahead and get his work in at AAA. And like Stammen said, and AJ Preller reiterated, man, he has proved his worth in AAA. It's now or never for this guy.
I felt bad for him, Marty. I thought it was embarrassing. I really did. I thought it was embarrassing to have him on the roster and have him be a player that was discussed. Now, again, social media discussions and talk radio, whatever. But I thought it was embarrassing for the guy, that he didn't get an opportunity to catch, that he never got a hit in the season, and that he kind of became, this talking point for people about what he could be or what he wasn't. And I just don't think that the organization really handled it all that well.
Yep.
Where exactly the finger gets pointed in that situation, I'm not sure. But, it is going to be different, at least today on Friday the 13th for Luis Campusano. So, maybe, again, people will be proven right one way or the other. Either the previous two coaching staffs and some of those pitchers will be proven right, or AJ Preller and his front office will be proven right, and that this guy's a legitimate major leaguer.
We're going to find out why Mike Schill would rather have a DFA Martin Maldonado be in the Padres taxi squad for the playoffs than
right. But that's a real thing, Marty.
And
I mean, like the last two.
That's
the last couple of managers. It's not just Schill. It was also Bob Melvin before that, who's like, I don't know, I'm not playing anybody, and then I'd rather have anybody other than this guy, like think about where that was in the postseason a couple of years ago. And, listen, if you want to make a case that, Diaz and Maldonado or Nola or some of these other guys, if you want to say that Luis Campusano isn't the guy, that's fine. I think everybody can handle that conversation. But what happened is then it ended up becoming it just became like this ridiculously over the top endorsement after endorsement of these other ham and egger kind of catchers. And, I think that's the part where it started feeling a little bit weird, is like you had these managers on their heels saying like, no way, man, like Martin Maldonado, like what? Like, oh yeah, this guy, that guy, Jorge Alfaro. And like, if you think Campusano's shit, like just say it, you know what I mean? Like it'd be a lot easier, I think, for people to deal with than trying to talk up some of these other catchers that have been run through the system over the last couple of years.
I agree. Anything more you want to say before we move on to the next topic, Darren?
No, I felt like that was a good take. I should just drop this mic and finish my cortado and move on.
That was a great take. I'm looking forward to talking to Luis Campusano. By the way, speaking of Padres catchers, there's a video that you can find on Marty Time TV. It's Ethan Salas talking about what he has to prove. He had a great line. I just want to show them. I need to prove that I'm Ethan Salas. That this is who I am. I can hit. So hopefully, man, it's been difficult for the Padres and their catchers and their young catchers and how they manage these guys and how quickly they bring them up.
I mean, Austin Hedges was right there this offseason. He was right there.
Austin Hedges is still playing. He is.
People can laugh at that all they want. This
No.
guy is going to get a pension in Major League Baseball. Like, this guy is a World Series champ. Like, I know he was along for the ride for large portions of that, but like, laugh at your own peril.
Darren, future manager. Prove me wrong. This guy, he is going to either have a career if he wants it in media or as a future manager. I'm 100% positive. Good for him. Good for him. All right. You asked me yesterday a very important question. Is Fernando Tatis Jr. wearing sweatpants? And Darren,
what's
I'm
going
going
on
to
here?
say yes. I think he's wearing his pants over his regular baseball pants. It's been
What,
cold.
what kind of ship is Stammen running here? You know, that players just get to show up and wear whatever they want to wear here. That they, just get to wear sweatpants and they don't have to wear a uniform. What's the story around here? Yeah. Okay. Did you get to the bottom of that?
I did not get to it yet. Now, as you know, like all the WBC players had to be here. Was it 2 days ago? Yesterday was their first day. Everyone's here, right? There's no one missing. We caught up with Miguel Andujar earlier today, but all the players are here. But Tatis, Machado, Bogarts, they have not spoken yet. I don't think they're going to speak until it's the full official camp here, which is going to be Sunday. So when we get to it, I will ask him the two important questions. The Bad Bunny halftime show and whether or not he was considered to be a backup dancer, and why he's wearing sweatpants during batting practice.
Good job.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. You've been there 3 days. I'm sure whose skin are you under by now?
Probably everybody.
Yeah,
By the way-
nice troll job with Manny in that batting practice swing against JP Sears.
That wasn't a troll. It's just what happened. I mean, if
It was cinematic. I mean, that was amazing cinema. I must admit, I watched that no less than 10 times just because I noticed something different every single time. How far the bat went, how quiet it got, how you could hear the bat just clattering around down the third base line, how the catcher had to hesitate, and then Manny just walked off. It was great theater. Good job. Good cinema.
I think Tatis is the one that said nice launch angle. That wasn't me, putting the captions in there. That was his teammate.
Oh, he said that? Somebody actually said that?
Yeah, someone said.
Oh, okay. I thought that was your commentary.
No, I'm not that clever. So.
All right. Yeah, good. That's good to know. So you're quoting accurately like a journalist, big J journalist.
Yes.
You're accurately quoting the players as things are developing in Peoria.
Quote. That's why I had it in quotes.
Got it.
Okay. All right. So Darren, I was partially right. Okay, I was halfway wrong when I mentioned on the last show that I would head out to media day because Rob Manfred was going to speak. So you and I had this entire conversation on Friar Territory. For those of you watching, I highly recommend that you subscribe and you like and you follow Friar Territory. You will see different conversations. Hopefully with Darren Smith, you'll catch me and Heath Bell, but we'll have some fun stuff coming from Padres next week, including, I believe, a conversation with Jackson Merrill. But I said that Rob Manfred was going to speak. What questions do you want to ask with the Padres ownership? He did speak, however, I'm in the wrong state. He spoke in Florida. I'm here in Arizona. So,
well, geography's never been your strong suit, as
It has
everybody
not been.
knows.
Yes.
No, we all remember the story of Marty booking a trip to a Hawaiian island, not realizing that she was staying on a different Hawaiian island and not being able to navigate her way there via a rental car. So this
Shout
comes
out,
as a
Avis.
surprise to nobody at all.
Yeah.
I guess he spoke a little bit. He said that there was interest in the Padres. Didn't say much more than that.
Nope.
I think I was following along with Evan Drellich of The Athletic,
yes.
who reported that Rob Manfred's exact words were there was significant interest. No timeline was given, although there's been some speculation recently that perhaps things will move along a little bit quicker. But again, that's just speculation, and it's just sounds like guesswork to me.
I would agree. I've been on the lookout to see if anyone's going to be around. Now, Eric Grupner has not been in camp yet. I haven't seen any disciples. I believe they were also in Florida for the owners meeting. So perhaps, Darren, when they return, I think later this weekend, maybe they'll be bringing in some tourists with them, giving them a tour of the facility.
A tour of what? The Peoria Sports Complex? The Padres don't own that, do they?
By the way, it has changed a lot, Darren. They have put in almost all artificial turf in the walking area. You know how the batting cages here used to face out towards the practice fields? They turned it around, and now the batting cages, which you're not allowed to take pictures of, They face out here towards the patio. It looks nice.
You're not allowed to take pictures of them, huh?
Nope, no pictures,
Huh.
no videos.
Did you find that one out the hard way?
I find a lot of things out, usually by breaking the rules first.
Yes, I've gotten some reports out there that there were some cameras pointed at the batting cages, and maybe not everybody loved that. Not everybody in the batting cages loved that.
Okay. Well,
No, I'm telling you, sources revealed to me, not you. Sources revealed to me though that yes, there was maybe some questions, some unclear rules early on.
because there's new rules. There's new areas to stand. There's new places to stand, new places to sit. So there's the corrals for the media to make sure we don't wander off into the
corrals.
Corrals.
Yes.
They're called media corrals.
Like the animals that we are.
Yes, that's exactly it. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish up with some rumors, Darren, because I believe that the next time you and I talk, the Padres will have signed. What do you think?
Who was that? Bless you.
What are you hearing? Are they closer to signing a pitcher, a name out there, a Castellanos? By the way, what do you make? How do you think that'd go over if the Padres signed a guy washed up that AJ Preller has always coveted, but who was pretty
Washed
much
up?
released?
Are we talking about who are we talking about here? Ty France or
not Ty France?
okay?
Is that your hunch?
You're talking about Nick Castellanos?
Yes,
You're
I
saying
am.
that he's washed up? That's it?
No, I think he has more left than Jason Hayward, Yuli Gurriel.
Right. We've seen some washed up players.
Yes,
We know washed up around here.
yes, we do.
I don't know if you can find it at a bargain. He's a Southern Florida guy. I think they should sign Nick Castellanos and they should put him right next to Manny Machado, and they should just call that corner of the clubhouse like 305 West, and it should just be the most difficult corner in Padres history when it comes to people like yourself with their media credentials and their cameras and their microphones, because you would just put Nick Castellanos next to Manny Machado, and I think
really?
It would be amazing content. Absolutely. I
Really?
think that would just be fantastic. Yes, I would love to watch you all just absolutely just squirming while these two guys made life difficult for reporters inside of that clubhouse. Not just you, AC,
Right.
others. Yeah, I mean, it could be, neither one of these guys are known for their friendliness towards our profession. I think they're known to be both perhaps a bit prickly. So putting them side by side, I think it would just be an epic move if it were to happen.
It probably wouldn't happen. Well, actually, it could happen because Yu Darvish, I imagine, is not going to have his locker spot, and Manny Machado had the seat.
Yep.
He has the corner, the circle,
Yeah.
the corner of the circle. You can't really have a corner.
I
The
kicked the
section-
tires on him, Marty. I mean, listen, it was 23 home runs last year. It sounded like it was, listen, that's an interesting place to play. I know it was a negative WAR player, but, a guy now, I mean, I would wonder about motivation for a player like this who's already being paid, but who's a free agent at the end of the year, given his age. How much more does he think he has? Is it an opportunity to get another contract going into a lockout? I'm not so sure. I don't think the story in The Athletic was great.
Right.
I don't think it was, I mean, you and I are probably aware of some players that have, put their beer in a cup in the dugout from time to time. So, I'm not all that put off, but I would certainly ask around a little bit. I would ask Preller's known to have a group of consultants, people who have played, and I would want to pick their brains and find out, is this guy, what's the deal with him? Like, I wouldn't believe everything that I read. I'm not saying that it was inaccurate. I'm just saying, was it as detrimental inside of a clubhouse, perhaps, as somebody could interpret that story to be? Are there players in this clubhouse that you could write similar things about if you wanted to? So, it seems like the kind of thing you write about a player who's on his way out, not a player who would be sticking around for another year.
He could have been, right, the players in that clubhouse, the leaders in that clubhouse, right? The Bryce Hoppers could have said, we want no part of that guy. We're done. He's not forgiven. Goodbye. And when that happens, when you have certain guys saying we don't want him, then it's time to move on. But maybe he'd be embraced here. So I'll have to go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it would depend, some of the stuff like, well, he's not a guy who wants to hit seventh or be replaced for defensive purposes. Yeah, like that's going to happen here. Like, like this ain't that team. You know what I mean? Like that's not going to be the situation here. If that's who you want, then go find some dog crap team and go play for that team. Like somebody that doesn't care that you're playing. Go play for the Marlins. They can probably give you 9 innings a game. No questions asked. So if that's what you're looking for, but if you're looking for being part of a winning culture, which is where he's been over the last couple of years, and some unique personalities and a renegade kind of place, I don't know. I mean, I think that, that there might be something worth looking into there. I wouldn't just give him a huge contract, but you won't have to do that anyway. The other names are names like Alex Bone and Ty France and again, like these are all as my former guy John Gennaro would say, these are kind of lottery ticket kind of pieces, and then some of the pitchers that are out there right now are again like the kind of players who you're not convinced that they're going to do anything, but you're just thinking maybe this scenario would be beneficial to them and it works out well, but ain't no guarantees out there on the market at this point anymore. Not for the price tag not for the money that the Padres have to spend.
No, it sounds like what's left is pretty much, hey, maybe you can get a couple good months out of a couple starts out of them, and Ruben Yabla can work his magic. That's a lot of if this happens, that's a lot of if that you're banking on happen. So there's no obvious solution out there. I mean, with the guys that you mentioned pitching wise, do they have more upside than Kyle Hart and Matt Waldron and JP Sears, who
I don't know. I mean, can you make a compelling case for like a Walker Buehler? I don't, or is it just there's too much Dodger stink on him, or I looked at the free agent list today. I probably have it here on my Mac somewhere.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't. You can keep looking at it and try to convince yourself of things, but it just, it's not there. So, you're sort of just throwing a dart at a board here and hoping one of these guys one of these guys actually clicks. And, again, I think you said JP Sears is an interesting name. I think Randy Vasquez is still an interesting name to me. I think at this point now, if you've decided you're keeping Pivetta and you're not going to trade him for multiple pieces, then, this is the bin that you're looking in for players at this point of spring training, and it's worked in the past and it's also not worked in the past. So, you just hope you can find a guy. Maybe they can give you a half season. I mean, we're also thinking along those lines. It doesn't have to be somebody, who's going to give you 30 something starts. You're looking for somebody who's, at the back end with off days, you kind of manipulate your way through it and, see if you can, just piece it together until something better potentially pops up, or until you completely fold this hand and just, move on with your life from some of these other guys.
it's been quiet. It's been a quiet couple of days, but I think we'll have some action come this weekend. Action.
This is Marty's way of saying that somebody has slipped something into her ear and she's predicting something without predicting something, because you don't want to be like the vague, I'm reporting something, but I don't know what I'm reporting, which we have a lot of around this team.
Right. By using really strange, squirrely words. I'm not going to
I don't know what's happening, but I know something's happening.
Something's happening. I believe something's happening.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that contract he's going to give back, but he's giving back something, I think.
By the way, so I did follow up with AJ yesterday at the GM meetings, and I did ask him more about Darvish, and he says they're still working it out, but everything that Preller said made it 1,000% positive. It's going to happen. He is going to walk away. He's not pitching again for the Padres. He didn't use the word retire, but that money, they're gonna get that money back. So, anyways, that'll be soon.
Wonderful. I
know. What do you have going on this weekend, Darren?
Well, Marty, tomorrow's Valentine's Day, and I'm a huge romantic, so I cannot reveal what exactly it is that I'm planning here on Marty Time Television with your thousands and thousands of subscribers. So, word will get out, and I don't want that to happen.
So you are planning something?
I'm working on it.
Never mind. Text me. Send me a text.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I know, you'll know.
Okay, SDFC had I should have gotten the images. They had their kit reveal, right?
They did, yeah. I got invited last Saturday to the fashion show up there at the Salk Institute up in La Jolla, which was a place I'd never been. It was phenomenal.
Yeah,
like a world-class event. Like, where am I? Am I in Venice or what? What is this? It was an incredible event. It really was. And yeah, mixed reviews as expected on the New Jersey. Some people like it, some people don't. Such is life,
Shocking.
Shocking. I mean, some people are like, yes, I'm gonna go buy that. And others like, yeah, I would never wear that. And it's like, yeah, okay. Like,
Sounds like
It's-
it's a
it's-
hit.
Yeah,
That was the same reaction when they revealed their main colors, right? When they had the jersey revealed.
yeah. And then it set all sorts of records for an expansion team. So yeah, I don't know what to believe. I know not to believe online reaction. I think it's not generally speaking the best.
No, I think it's usually. I think it's accurate.
The best gauge of public sentiment, but I guess we'll see. I dig them. I think just seeing the shirt, not seeing it with the shorts didn't do it justice. I did end up with one. I'm not much of a jersey guy these days, anyway. And I think if people are like, I don't know about that, they've got a lot of other good gear that you can find that's not a jersey. If jerseys aren't for you, or if this one isn't for you. But yes, it's our last weekend before the league starts on next Saturday. So life's about to change. I think.
Awesome.
I don't know.
Awesome.
I guess we'll find out.
Well, in
See what
that
happens.
case, enjoy. It's gonna be good. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your last free weekend before life gets really, really crazy for you.
Well, Marty, before we do this, let me just stop you here for a second.
Yes.
Because people will see this and maybe they're planning a trip of their own to spring training out to Peoria. What should people be on the lookout for? I mean, don't give us all the insider stuff. What's happening with the batting cages? People can't get there. What's new and exciting with the nightlife? What's new and exciting in Peoria? What's new and exciting? I don't know exactly what part of town you're staying in, but where in the Valley of the Sun? Like, tell us a little bit. Give us a little bit of travel advice for people that are making their way out to Peoria this year.
The number one piece of travel advice is you don't take travel advice from me. So I booked my Airbnb. I was not gonna reveal this. I booked my Airbnb last minute, right? When under category, if it's a trailer park, they should tell you which trailer.
You're in a trailer?
Not anymore. I'm going somewhere new today. It did not say trailer park. If you
trailer park. I stayed in a shipping container once when I was visiting my dad in Florida. Somebody had a shipping container converted into an Airbnb. And I was like, what the F? I'll try it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't terrible, but I'd never do it again. How was the trailer park? Did you make any friends?
It's a private one.
Private trailer park, of course. Is it like a fancy one? Like you would find on the Strand here
it
between
seems nice.
Imperial Beach and Coronado?
And then I had no TV, so I was just out of my mind.
You have a laptop. What do you need a TV for? What are you, 80 years old?
I need a TV. So I had to watch shows on my Android there. It's very difficult.
You're like a youngin'.
I'm going out today. I have not been to the revamped Moon on this trip, which I know looks like a converted Denny's, but with night lights. I will give it a shot today. It is Friday. So I
Friday the 13th.
It is, yes. So listen, get on with your weekend. I know you would enjoy that romantic dinner with Leah that you planned at Chipotle. So
yeah.
I want to spoil that
exactly.
surprise, but I just did.
It's you've now let my secrets out here for everybody to analyze and make fun of. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. All right, D. Smith. Have a great
All right.
weekend.
Safe
Answer
travels.
I have a lot of questions about you. Appreciate your
Who?
time. I'll tell you. You know who? Just the usual people.
Am I wrong? Is Preller's hair a little grayer than it used to be?
I think it's curlier than it used to be. I think it's a stress.
Stress, yeah. Stressful time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Silver Fox.
No, not quite.
Not yet.
I don't think so. I think you're seeing things. I don't think it's that gray.
Well, maybe it was the funky camera work.
Maybe. I'll let him know. All right.
Have a great
That's
weekend.
That's Darren Smith. I'm Marty Caswell. Thank you for watching Marty Time TV. We are brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Don't forget to also follow our content at Friar Territory. Like and subscribe. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Hello, my name is Sung-Mun Song. I'm happy to be here today and very excited to be in San Diego. Let's go Padres!